Hello, welcome back to Newbie Corp and Black Push. So today we have some special guests here. We have ADA Herbert Adams from Gwinnett County, and then we also have Nicole Williams from Shop Sense at Heaven. Well, from Sense at Heaven. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
I'm doing good.
Good. And of course, not least, but last, or however the saying goes. I'm trying to get it right.
Back again.
Yeah.
We just wanted to first off by just saying thank you guys for being here. As you guys know, every week we start off with our Black Push portion. We like to talk about criminal justice reform, things that are going on in our community. And we are super excited to have the senior DA. We talked about it earlier today.
Okay.
Senior DA / assistant DA.
Senior Assistant District Attorney.
Absolutely.
Senior
We're
ADA.
super excited to have him. And just so you guys know, he's the senior DA from Gwinnett County. Gwinnett County is who it is. And he serves
Patsy.
under ADA Patsy. So we are awesome. We're excited to have him here today. And we have already talked to him about a few things that we're going to go over today and talk about. And we're going to also have Nicole here, but she's going to be on our second segment. And she's going to be talking about how it feels to raise children in this climate, man. It's just
Yeah.
so crazy. So we'll start off with you, Nicole. I know you look a little nervous. It's okay, but we'll start off with you. So we want to just talk to you, like, how do you feel like, with everything that has gone on, George Floyd, we look at the news just recently, even last night in Cobb County, which I know you stay in. There was a robbery, and the young man chased the police, or had the police chase him all the way over to Atlanta, and one of them ended up getting hurt in a car, or one of them ended up running out of the car, and then he ended up getting hit. I think he was 14 years old.
Yes.
So, I mean, just raising children in this climate, like, how do you feel about the climate? How do you feel about, because you have two sons, right?
Correct.
And a daughter, too, who's now
yes,
out
she
here
is
rolling.
20 and
Yeah.
on the road.
On the road, yeah. So, but I mean, just tell us, how do you feel about that? Like, what's your reaction to it?
It is rather nerve-wracking. I think for the most part, I think you know this already, that I'm retired military. So for the most part, I've always been kind of in a bubble shelter. You know, you're around a military community. That's not to say that there aren't any types of injustices that you don't have to worry about just because you're military. But now being in the civilian sector, it is kind of nerve-wracking because my boys are young. They're 8 and 10. And like I said, my daughter is 20. So they are more exposed. You know, usually I don't really watch that much TV, but because of the things that are going on, you have to be aware. You have to be cognizant that, it doesn't matter the age anymore. You know, Trayvon Martin, their ages. And my youngest, he's pretty mouthy. So it's things that you kind of instill in that, not all police officers are bad.
Right, absolutely.
But kind of have that discernment,
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to tell your child, make sure that you use extra caution when talking to someone of law enforcement. But unfortunately, it's the ugly truth that nowadays that you have to just be that much more aware. Don't make no sudden moves. Don't do this. And these are conversations that their dad also has with them, being that he's retired military as well. So, but from a mother's perspective, it is definitely much more nerve-wracking, and just making sure that the things that we want to teach them how to treat a woman, now you have to think of how to survive, you know.
You
in
know,
this
it's
type of
funny.
environment.
One of the interesting things D.A. Brody said last week is that he said that he made the comment that really shocked me. He said, even in the position I'm in now, when I get pulled over, I'm nervous. And that was like shocking to me, because with you being the DA, like, you're the DA of Cobb County. That's pretty interesting. So moving over to you, DA, I'm sorry, DA Hubert. One of the things that it really bothered me, I was not aware of this. So I know the process of grand jury. I was not really too much aware of it because in Florida, I don't think they use the grand jury system per se on certain cases. But I wasn't aware that, like, it was only the DA's department and a few people in the room, or 5 or 7 people, however many they decide. And it's kept private, from what I understand. It means it's not a public hearing. But at the same time, like, it's used to determine whether a person has enough proper cause to prosecute a person. But yet there's no defense attorney there. Why is it that the system, or the bar, the standards, is so low when it comes down to grand juries? Can you help us understand that?
Yes, and first of all, to respond to something you mentioned earlier, one of the great things about our new district attorney in Gwinnett County is that she is a mother and a grandmother. And so she understands the challenges and stresses that parents face. And as the first female district attorney and the first Black district attorney, she's really, I think, uniquely positioned to address these issues going forward in our county. Now, specifically with respect to the grand jury process, I think it's important that people understand what the grand jury process is. And it dates back dates back hundreds of years. But in Georgia, the grand jury is basically to determine whether or not there's probable cause for the state to make its case.
Right.
And it's based on the state statute. So to change the law with respect to grand juries in Georgia, it has to be done by the legislature
Right.
under the Gold Dome. But it's not a trial. And so it's not something where the defense gets to present a case. You don't have a trial there. It's whether the state can meet its burden beyond a reasonable doubt. And so that's why we have it the way it is. There is an exception for the defense if it's a police officer, and that was by statute. But otherwise, no, the defense is not present at a grand jury proceeding. But if the case is presented correctly, the grand juror should be presented with enough information to take into account, multiple sides of an issue and make a determination whether the state can meet its burden going forward.
Yeah, and that's interesting. That's very interesting. I never knew part B of that the only time a defense attorney is allowed in the room is if it's a police officer. And that's very interesting because one of the things that we've been talking about from the perspective of, like, why is it that our community, the African-American community, the minority community, has this deep impression of that laws work one way, but they don't really kind of lean the other way. They're not fair the other way. And I think that's very interesting that a police officer can have a DA or have a defense attorney in the room, but a regular average person should still be afforded the same opportunities.
And again, it gets back to the legislature.
I completely understand.
But the other thing is that even though if a police officer is charged, that officer does not have the right to sit through the whole proceedings. The only advantage that the officer has that another regular or non-police officer doesn't have is the ability to make a statement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He can have his attorney there. He can make a statement, but he's still subject to cross-examination by the DA's office and by the grand jurors. But he cannot cross-examine. So he gets to make a statement and answer questions. That's it. So it's not like he can put on a full defense,
Right.
Even a police officer.
All right, and that's, this is the reason I love having these conversations because of people like us who don't know the law.
Right.
Like, it really helps to hear it in the law. So just talk about some of the things that Gwinnett County is currently doing to kind of, I know we had the meeting before in private, and I know you guys, it was also, I forgot her name.
Brenda.
Miss Brenda.
Yes.
Attorney Brenda. Let's get it right.
Yes.
Right.
Esquire.
As senior ADA Brenda,
Right.
if we're going to be
Yes,
specific.
correct.
Brenda Lopez Romero.
Yes.
Correct. I know you guys are doing a lot of things to kind of build that bridge. Or I actually, someone corrected me on using the word bridge the other day because I used it, and I think it was Colonel Atkins from the Sheriff's Department of Cobb County said, "No, we don't need you to build no bridge. We're gonna bring the bridge to you. We just need you to walk across the bridge."
Yeah.
So, but what are some of the things that Gwinnett County, from a DA's perspective, the office itself is doing? I know you guys have made adjustments to the way your drug program now has changed. The way you guys deal with misdemeanor crimes has changed. But some of those things you want to talk about?
The new district attorney, Patsy Austin Gatson, she believes in comprehensive criminal justice reform. And we're excited about many of the new ideas that she's bringing and some of the initiatives that she's taking. You mentioned Senior Assistant District Attorney Brenda Lopez Romero. She and I have been assigned by DA Patsy to work in a new office that DA Patsy has created called the Justice and Community Initiative, JCI.
Yeah.
And one of our responsibilities is to engage the community, to inform the community about what we're doing and to receive feedback from the community. And so that's something that we're working on. We believe in record restriction. We're trying to strengthen that in Gwinnett County. We're planning on formalizing. It hasn't really been formalized in the Gwinnett DA's office to the extent that it should be.
Yeah.
And one of our responsibilities in JCI is to do that. That's one of the jobs that I've been tasked with, actually. We also want to make sure that if there are any issues with respect to a past conviction, we want to make sure that's corrected. We don't believe that any innocent person should be convicted, and if so, it should be, corrected, and it shouldn't be languishing in prison. So that's something else. And the pretrial diversion, most counties have it, but it hasn't been systematically implemented and used fully in Gwinnett. And we want to have it consistently applied among all the judges and divisions in Gwinnett County. So that's one of the things that we're working towards. And we want to make sure that everyone who's eligible for pretrial diversion gets it, because that's an opportunity to have a charge against you completely dismissed. And so that's very important for, employment, for housing, for your future. So that's something else that she's very keen on. And so there are many things that we're working on. We are hitting the ground running. DA Patsy is committed to making sure that justice is fair and equal in Gwinnett County. And so that's what we're working to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think I'll add to it. I mean, before Shanice jumps in, I know one of the things that a lot of people have been talking about, definitely in Georgia, most of the counties that have gotten new DAs, it's about being equal, but at the same time being consistent across the board, like not doing one thing for one and not doing for the other. And I think that's pretty cool. I love it. Like I'm telling you, I used to stay in Gwinnett County. I know the old Gwinnett County, and I've heard people who talked about the changes and they feel the change. So that's pretty cool.
And one thing else that DA Patsy has emphasized to me, and she wanted me to bring that to your viewers, is that it's a total effort on everybody's behalf. She has a responsibility, and our office has a responsibility, but the whole community has a responsibility.
Absolutely.
And we all know the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
And when I was meeting with DA Patsy on yesterday, she wanted me to tell you that, we've got to do something about all these kids getting caught up in the criminal justice system. But even if you're not a parent, you know a child.
Right.
And it's not just the parent's responsibility, it's all of our responsibilities to read to a child, to give children instruction, correction. And so again, as a mother and a lawyer for many years, she's experienced, and she really wants to see some good things done to make the community better and safer for the entire populace.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I had a couple of questions. Specifically, I wanted to speak about criminal reform. That was something that I feel strongly about. So we, of course, been meeting with like a lot of different DAs and governmental entities. So the NAACP has a statistic that 1 in 3 Black men will go to jail at least once in their lifetime. Primarily, a lot of these crimes are it would be for like drugs or what have you. So with meeting with the DA last week of Cobb County, he mentioned that they're doing specific things for like their drug courts and intervention and what have you. So specifically, is there anything that Patsy is doing? Because, African American.
Let's put some
sorry.
respect on her.
DA Patsy. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Put some respect on her.
But yeah, but specifically, African American and minority communities are impacted by drugs. So I wanted to know if there's anything that she's doing or any plans in the future.
Well, DA Patsy, Austin Gasson, she's very informal, and so we generally call her DA Patsy, so that's fine. But we do have accountability courts in Gwinnett. We have a drug court, a mental health court, and a veterans court. And we have a senior assistant DA who's dedicated to those courts. And one of them, and the busiest one of those 3 is the drug court. And so we do believe in second chances and third chances for people. And so if there's a way to help a person get into the program, and the key thing though is completing the program.
That's true.
Yeah.
So true.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
But it is an opportunity if you take advantage of that opportunity to again keep your record clean, and on top of that, to help yourself stay clean.
Yeah,
To try to fight these addictions, which are powerful and real. And again, as an experienced prosecutor and lawyer, DA Patsy understands that, and she's instructing all of the assistant DAs in her office to do whatever we can, whether it's a drug case or a major violent felony case or a lesser felony case, to do our best Now, she's tasked with protecting the community, and she's going
Right.
to do that.
Absolutely.
And so that's every DA's responsibility.
Yeah.
But there are many ways to do that. And there are smart ways to do that and just ways to do that. And DA Patsy wants to make sure the Gwinnett District Attorney's Office does it in a fair and consistent way.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Montgomery, I think we talked about you being one of my former students when
Yes,
I was
sir.
teaching at Clayton State. And you may recall that I always emphasized, to me, the 5 most important words in the criminal justice system and legal system in general are due process and equal protection from the 14th Amendment, my favorite amendment to the
Same.
Constitution.
Absolutely.
And so we believe strongly in due process and equal protection for everyone, regardless of your race, regardless of your economic status, regardless of your gender. We want to treat everybody fairly. And we will do everything we can to do that. And if we, stumble or make a mistake, bring it to our attention and we'll try to correct it. We want to keep everyone safe, but we also want to treat everyone fairly.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that, there's something that you said earlier that really caught my attention. It's about policy. And I think a lot of people, even people who view this today, we have to understand that it's our obligation to get out and vote for people who stand up for what we believe in.
Absolutely.
And that is a policy change. And I think that across the board, like I said, I love what you guys are doing. And I do believe it takes a village to raise a child. It's crazy how this whole experiment comes back full circle, not even realizing that one day your student will be interviewing you.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I know you had another question for him too, didn't you?
Yeah, so I actually wanted to talk about so are you guys focusing on punitive justice, or are we moving to like more like restorative, or what form of justice are you guys thinking
Yeah.
for?
Oh, look at you.
Yes. DA Patsy believes strongly in restorative justice. And that's why she's wanting to strengthen and formalize the pretrial intervention diversion program, the record restriction program. Those things have not been really formalized in the Gwinnett DA's office. And the one of the main functions and tasks given to us with the Justice and Community Initiative is to make it formal, so that we can have a consistent policy, a real policy, and not some just case by case, you do whatever you want. No,
Right.
we want to be consistent, and we're going to have specific guidelines. We're going to put it up on the website. We will plan on having a records restriction summit at some point this year. And some of the other counties are doing that.
Yeah.
And we, we don't want to reinvent the wheel, but we want to make sure that there is a wheel in that county that people can depend on. And so those are some of the things that we're doing. But she definitely believes in restorative justice.
Awesome.
Because, again, she believes that people need a second and a third chance.
Yeah.
And she's a woman of faith. And she believes that, we're all sinners saved by grace. And those of no faith, again, she wants to treat everybody the same.
The same, right.
And so people should be able to expect that and demand that out of their county prosecutor,
Absolutely.
chief prosecutor. And that's what DA Patsy Austin Gatson intends to do.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Nicole, bringing you back in, you trying to be quiet over there. So just one of the things that he hit to is that it does take a village to raise a child, right? And I love. I've met your two boys. I know the youngest one. He is full of energy.
Yes, he is.
So when you hear stuff like that, when you hear stuff about like what he was just referring to, like we have to. It doesn't just start on their half. They can do what they have to do, and they can make all these adjustments to the policies and all this kind of stuff. But it starts at home, pretty much. It does. It starts at home.
It does.
So like as a single mother, how is it like? What are some of the things that you do with your sons to make sure that they don't end up seeing somebody like DA Herbert?
It starts with manners, but not only just with the children. When we say take a village, it's also establishing a rapport with your neighbors and stuff too. Because times have changed since I'm not old, but I'm not exactly young. I'm 39,
Right.
and I know that if I go outside and I'm doing something I have no business doing, that I don't have to wait till I got home to hear about it. It was somebody, the neighbor, whoever else was taking care of it, because we worked as a community.
Yeah.
We don't have that like we used to, because if I try to correct someone's child, it's now their mom or whoever has
Ready
a
to
problem with
fight.
you.
Absolutely.
It's
So
crazy.
for me, it starts at home, where manners, you're respecting those who are in the house, even if they're their sister. That's not how you talk to, or saying,
Yeah.
I am the adult, I am the authority figure, but I also talk to my kids how I want them to talk to me.
Yeah.
But also respecting the people that are around you,
Yeah.
and education, we push those type of things. We instill discipline. Again, military background from me and their dad. So now discipline may be a little different.
Yeah.
But I think it's a community effort. So if I don't have that relationship with you, my neighbor, that you can feel comfortable to, hey, Devontae, that's not correct, or Darren, then how can I expect, when they do go out into the world, that someone else, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'm shy. I don't really like
You know what's interesting about what you just said? I agree wholeheartedly. And it is community effort, just as if like a neighbor can be able to help, parent or, let you know something that's going on. That same neighbor can be a bad role model. If they're doing something bad, then, different people in the neighborhood can pick up on those things. So it's so essential to try to be a role model if you're not a parent or not, because overall, we're
watching you.
Exactly.
Never
know.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're my neighbor too, and I see that, if we're, and I don't call everybody a friend,
Yeah.
but as my neighbor, I am going to say, hey, I don't think whatever it may be is appropriate. I think
Yeah.
sometimes people are scared to have that conversation.
Absolutely.
And if I can't address that with you, especially being my neighbor, depending on how we might go about it, we just don't communicate at all afterwards.
Yeah.
But you're going to hear what I have to say just as well. It's about respect too. It's delivery,
Yeah.
so it does take a village, but like you said, it does start in the home. You can't expect somebody else to fix your problems that you don't attend to in your own household.
Yeah,
That's true.
And I think that one of the questions the big question is that when the village is on fire, who do you run to? And that's where I think as a nation, like, we're in a place where the village was on fire. Thank God we got a new fireman. And we have somebody who actually wants to help try to put out that fire, but it won't happen like overnight.
Correct.
I was actually someplace yesterday, and a person had asked somebody like put the mask up, and it was inside the store, and they got into this big argument because the person did not want to put a mask on. Like, you believe in that fake stuff. COVID's not real. And for a person like me who's had COVID twice,
Right.
and the second time it almost literally killed me. Like, it's very much real. You understand? Even when we have these discussions in the office all the time about the COVID vaccine, and our community is really skeptical of the vaccine. We had this at church. Even last week we had this discussion at church, and people are really like, they don't want to take it. And I've spoken to pastors who I've said, like, hey, let's come together and let's just go on and do this. I got a spot we can go take our vaccine at. Let's do it, and do it in the media. And they're not even wanting to do it. In that village. So what do you do when the village is on fire? And I think that part of it is electing people who vote your interests. Right?
Exactly. I agree.
Bringing in DA Patsy, bringing in DA Brody.
Yeah.
It was a very nice conversation I had with Paulding County Sheriff and their deputy chief.
Absolutely.
And they were so adamant about, their question was, because Paulding County has a huge African American population, has a huge minority population, but most of the people who are in elected office are not African American.
Absolutely.
And he asked the question, like, we've spoken to them, but what do we do when they don't hear us?
Right.
And that's what I mean by when it takes a village, right? Is how do we bring that dialogue to each other to where we hear each other versus talking over each other? I mean, there was a church in DeKalb, I think it was, and it was a white church, and we sent them an email saying, hey, let's talk, right? And their response to us was simply like, there's nothing we need to talk about. And how do we do that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How do we bring that village together?
Well, Sean, I think you're setting a great example.
Yeah.
I think so too.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
It takes dialogue, it takes engagement, and just your being able and willing to go out, raise the questions, meet with people. You contacted our office. You reached out to, probably literally hundreds, if not thousands of people.
Yes.
And, that helps hold us accountable. And then when we engage, we can help inform one another, educate one another, and get the word out and be an example. Because if no one is speaking truth, then people will believe all the untruths and the lies. And we need people who are willing to tell the truth and even some uncomfortable truths.
Mhm.
We understand why African Americans distrust government mandated vaccination.
Right.
Mhm.
We understand that history.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's the real history.
Yeah.
Correct.
But we can't be straitjacketed by what happened, 100 years ago. We've got to take advantage of the many brilliant scientists and doctors and medical professionals, black, white, and brown, and
Absolutely.
yellow. I mean, of all backgrounds. And as you said, this is real. I can personally attest to friends who have died from COVID-19. It is real.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And, so when we hear someone saying that it's not, I think we have to confront that person. And we have to tell them, no, it is real.
Mhm.
And this is why I know it's real. We can't be reticent about that. That's our responsibility as leaders. Leaders have to step up
Yeah.
and lead and tell uncomfortable truths even to our own community. Perhaps even most importantly to our own community, because that's how we can progress. And so I think programs like yours, the efforts by your staff and the different organizations you're involved in, is incredible. But that's what we need. We need people getting the word out and becoming engaged. And then I think we can, in the process, slowly but surely put out the fire in our community.
Yes.
Yeah, and that, it's crazy because I know I'm going to jump, but one of the things that's very interesting to me is that with everybody we've spoken to, how much you guys really want to work with the community. You're sitting here today not because you don't want to work with the community, because everybody wants to work with the community, whether it was in Gwinnett County, DeKalb County, Cobb County. I haven't met a county yet that we ran to that we didn't have elected officials now saying, hey, you know what, show us the bridge and we're ready to cross it.
Exactly.
The problem has been, once again, going back to the aspect of the community and the leaders who are in the community. And I say this boldly. I'm an associate pastor in Dallas, Georgia, right? We have to be bold in how we do things. We have to speak truth to truth. And that's the other thing that's really important is transparency. I think that a lot of, even when we talk about transparency from the perspective of the African American community, a big part of the problem is that people have not been transparent with like we'll take Breonna Taylor case as an example, right? We found out after the fact that later on that there was things coming out or things that he did not bring up in the grand jury, which is why I brought up the grand jury. But he presented one way, and then I was saying, you have grand jury saying, no, we never heard that, right? And I think the transparency has to be there.
That's true.
And we have to be able to hold people in leadership accountable
Right.
for that. So, but anything else you wanted to run through that Gwinnett County is doing that you wanted to kind of bring up, because I see that you had a few notes for us. And
Well, I really wanted to emphasize the criminal justice reform, the comprehensive reform that DA Patsy wants. And that is, again, with the pretrial intervention diversion program, the record restriction. And maybe I should say a little bit more about record restriction, because that's just a term that it's often thrown out there. It's commonly called getting your record expunged.
Yeah.
And so there's a process to go through. Now, the legislature last year passed SB 288, the second chance law. And so it made some changes. It didn't go far enough, but it did make some changes. And so now misdemeanor nonviolent offenses can be, even convictions can be restricted. And also felonies that have been pardoned. There was a time when any felony conviction, you could not get it expunged. So things are moving in the right direction, but there's a process, and it can be expensive and cumbersome. And so one of the things DA Patsy has instructed us to do is to help alleviate that process and costs for the citizens. And so we're going to bear, in essence, some of that cost or much of that cost by doing a lot of the steps. If it's a 10-step process, we're going to do like 7 of those steps ourselves to help the community get to a better place. And even beyond that record restriction, then you also have the sealing of the record. That's an additional step that she wants us to look at working on also. So again, she's committed to bringing positive change to the county. As you said, it's going to take some time, but she's insistent that we get it done, and so we're going to get it done for the citizens of Gwinnett County.
Absolutely.
And just being accessible, I think that's important, and that goes back to accountability. And so it's a new day in Gwinnett, and DA Patsy Austin Gatson is working hard to fulfill her campaign platform and to help, with everyone's assistance, help make the community safer and better. It's not an either or.
Right.
You can have both. You can be safe, and you can also be smart and just and fair.
Absolutely.
And that's what DA Patsy Austin Gatson is committed to doing.
Man, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, man. We ran out of
Absolutely.
time on our first segment, but kudos to you guys and DA
Well, thank you.
Patsy. Like,
Thank you
I
so
love
much
it.
for all that you do.
I love it, and I
Yeah.
love the fact that you were his teacher because he needs some teachers. I don't know.
He's doing great. I can tell.
Thank you so much.
We want to thank you, and we want to thank DA Patsy for allowing you to come here today. And we're going to continue that conversation, that dialogue. So you guys continue to go to blackpush.org to see how we're going to connect with Gwinnett County. And if you stay in Gwinnett County, like they said, it's a new day. They need your help. So let's make sure that we continue to do what we got to do and make sure policy is not going to change, you guys, unless we get out and we change it. So let's get this thing rolling and let's help them because their job is to enforce the law. So once again, we want to give them a shout out to DA Patsy and DA Herbert for coming out today. And we appreciate everything you guys do. Kudos to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Feel the mic.
Mason, are you there? I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Okay, Mason, give us
Hey everyone, it's Sean Smith, the president and CEO of Black Push and Newbie Corp. Today I wanted to talk to you about some of the things that we have going on this month and next month, and how you can play a part in helping us support other nonprofit organizations. On February 12th, we have our date night auction going on that will be held at the Kidiotic Mableton Event Salon. We want you to join us, whether you want to come in person or virtually. Join us as we're partnering to support Powerhouse Enrichment Center and to help them, the newly opened men's shelter down in South Clayton. Once again, you can find out more information about this event by going to www.blackpush.org, where you can go and you can purchase your ticket for only $10, and you can get a date night auction. And the way our auction is going to work is we have people who have volunteered their time to go out on a date. And we're going to have that date on February 19th at one of the hottest spots in Atlanta, Vista Vibes Restaurants, where there will be live music, there will be dancing, there will be awesome food. And you'll be able to go on that date on February 19th with whoever you purchase during the auction. Remember that 50% of the proceeds that you donate will go back to Powerhouse Enrichment Center to continue to make a life, or to continue to make a difference in the lives of those who have been incarcerated in our system and want to come back out and have a new opportunity in life. So we look forward to seeing you there, and we hope that you can play a part. And not only play a part, tell other people about it. Buy a ticket online. Even if you don't want to buy a ticket or you can't participate, just go to www.blackpush.org and make a donation. Everything that you do, and just make sure you put on there that it's for the date night, and we'll make sure that 50% of those proceeds still go to Powerhouse Enrichment Center for their men's shelter. But that's not where it stops, because Newbie Corp has some exciting news as well. Newbie Corp is getting ready to host on March 13th a sweet release where we kind of go and we let go of all the bad vibes from 2020. We want to memorialize anybody who may have passed away due to COVID, other diseases, may have just naturally passed away. This is your opportunity. And not only does it stop there, you can actually, when you buy a candle for our candlelight visual, you actually can post on our website a memorial for your loved one, where you can write something about them, or you can put a Bible verse up there. So I encourage you guys to go to www.newbiecorp.org to find out more information for how you can participate with that. And once again, we are partnering with another nonprofit organization. We're partnering with Count Me In Group, where 50% of the proceeds would go back towards their tutoring group to be able to assist us in purchasing laptops for young kids who need laptops and tutoring. So we hope that you join us on this journey. We hope that you participate with us, and we look forward to working with you, and we look forward to building better together in our community with these nonprofits please, please, please go to our Facebook page at Black Push Incorporated or at Newbie Corp Incorporated, or go to our websites at www.blackpush.org to find out more information about our date night auction, or www.newbiecorp.org to find out any more about our sweet release. You guys, let's get this done. Let's help these nonprofits, and let's continue to build better together. Have a blessed day.
And we are back for our Newbie Corp portion of it. Today, I am super excited. We have two great people. Nicole is going to stay around with us to talk about her candle collection and her wax collection. But we're going to start off with somebody else today. I'm going to have Trinice introduce him. This young man, I seen him literally on the Drew Berry show yesterday. Every place I turn around, he's on. When I was trying to interview him, he was getting interviewed by AJC. So he has a lot going on right now. Started his business when he was 11 years old, and now he's 14 years old. He's considered the youngest restaurant owner in the state of Georgia. So let's give it up. You want to introduce him, Trinice?
Yeah, his name is Mason Alexander Wright. Mason, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How you doing today, Mason?
I'm doing great. How are all of you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you so much. We are so happy to have you today.
No problem.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you got started in the restaurant business and what made you want to actually own your own restaurant. How did that come about?
It came about when I had a love for science, and my mom said if I wanted any more science kits, I would have to buy them myself. So I started walking dogs, washing cars, and mowing lawns. But then I realized those jobs just weren't for me. So on the trip to New York City with my sister, in Times Square, all you saw was hot dog carts with superheroes.
Yep.
And when I was waiting in a really long line, I had to try one of New York's famous hot dogs. That's when I knew I could take this business concept back to Atlanta, and I did. I started with my little red cart. I could only do 12 hot dogs at a time. And for my birthday, I got my New York style cart. My grandfather matched me with the rest of the money. Then I went on Morehouse campus to try for the Shark Tank.
Oh, awesome.
I did make it, but as I was walking towards the bookstore, I saw the president of Morehouse, and then I told him my business pitch, and he told me as long as I have all A's, I could sell on his campus.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, wow, man. That is amazing.
That's
like,
amazing.
kudos. I'm sorry. We got to clap it up for you.
Right?
Yes. Mason. Like, that is amazing because you didn't get shut down, and that's pretty cool. So you guys you currently have your own cart, right? Or something like it, similar to it?
After I got my New York style cart, once COVID hit, instead of being a food truck, we had to pivot and go get a restaurant. I got that for my birthday from my sister. We were supposed to go get Chick-fil-A, but instead I got a whole restaurant. So this is way better.
I know, and we've actually went there today.
Yes.
Trinice went there today, and we have some, just for you guys who are watching now, we have some video we're going to post up later on today because he's our business of the week.
Yes.
We also have a video. We have some photos we're going to post up. So if you guys go to www.newbiecorp.org, we have a whole bunch of information about Mason and about his business and about how you guys can find him. The hot dogs are delicious. The chili's even better.
Amazing. I'm from New York, so I know hot dogs, and your hot dogs are amazing. They're amazing.
And he's vegan.
Yes, and I'm vegan. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, of course. Do you have any questions for him?
I have no more, but thank you, Mason. We want to thank you for being here, and we want to make sure that you know that we're going to continue to support you. So on behalf of Newbie Corp, we're going to be sending you something in the mail. So be on the lookout for it because I love your spirit. I love everything that you do. And I love your mom. Your mom is awesome.
She's amazing.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, thank you for taking the time. I know you're probably busy, so we're going to let you go at the rest of your day, but thank you for taking the time. Let's give it up for Mason one more time, everybody. Thank you for calling in today, Mason.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right. See you, Mason.
That is so cool. I
That's
love
amazing.
to hear that story.
Energy.
But now we switch over to Nicole, who's back with us again.
Yes, hello.
So,
hello.
Nicole, tell us about your business. I see you have some samples here. We want to lay
I
them out on the
do.
table so that we can see them.
You wanna
Yes.
smell them? You can open them up. That's for y'all anyway.
Oh, don't try to. Hey, listen.
I do.
So actually, she was our first business of the week,
She
actually.
was.
And I smelled one of these, and I love them so
Wow.
much, and I've been
Ooh,
using them in my
this
house
Black
for a long
Sea is
time.
The
Yes.
bomb. The
Whoa.
Black Sea is the bomb. But
This
tell us a
smells
little about
lovely.
your business, like how you got started, what motivated you, everything. We're gonna swap some of these
Make sure
candles
that's
around.
make sure it's
Okay, you know it.
Sent from heaven. So I've dabbled in the entrepreneurial world, the MLM
Yeah.
as a consultant, a beauty consultant, which was cool and everything. But being that I am still full time employed, but sitting home, I mean, I'm fortunate that I am able to work from home. So it's kind of like twiddling my thumbs, like, okay, school's cool and everything, but I'm not as disciplined if I'm not in the classroom environment. So anyway, long story super short, YouTube videos and watching people grow their businesses. And that's not to say that if you have to, start a business because it's COVID, maybe it's a time for people to fall back, recollect themselves, or whatever. But I wanted to do something because I had a lot of idle time. I started out with candles, and candles is more, it's difficult. It's not just pouring wax. It's so many different types of wax, and it became more interesting the more I've seen other people doing it. And then I was like, all right, let's try the wax melts, And I'm sure y'all seen in Walmart, the little traditional plastic ones. I'm like, well, I want to do something different. Like these are cute, but what's going to set me apart?
Right.
So again, YouTubing, and it's not that I'm the original, but I stand behind my product.
I know that's right. Yeah.
And doing the pellets, it became more fun. And the way I came up with the name and just doing it was, like I said, the MLM that I was doing before, I couldn't keep the kids involved. I had to leave them home or whatever because I have a consultant, go out into other people's home and stuff, but they can participate.
Right.
So it's truly a family business. I am an LLC. It is just me. I am an employee of one, but it's just one of those things where let's do something different. And I started back in June. I actually launched in September. So
I know, and you've been you've been hitting it like
Hitting the road running.
I ain't much gonna lie to y'all. Like she brought me a sample, and then she brought me like the warmer.
Yeah.
And every day now I went to it was so bad. Like I had to go to I went to the dollar store and I literally bought like a warmer and I kept it. And like every day if you go in my house, the first thing that you see is a warmer there and how it melts. So I needed some more anyway. So sorry, Tranisha. All these samples right here is over with.
I'm gonna take one.
One's here.
Yeah.
The one that's on the screen right now, that looks like the lavender chamomile and lemon verbena. So I've changed the packaging quite a bit. That's one of the things as being a small business owner is that the trials and tribulations of finding what works for you. I started out with those jars that you see there. Cute, but now I'm competing with other candle makers and they go out of stock really quickly.
Right. Yeah.
Then it was, I went to a plastic container. It was cute, but then they were breaking and shipping.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Then I just went back to the glass containers, and guess what? I'm competing with candle makers.
Yeah.
Because now everybody's celebrities are doing candles. So I'm like, really? Y'all ain't got enough?
they want to take everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now those are running out. So I am in a new container. Offers more. So you get more smell goods for your $1. Okay, it's gone. So the ones that y'all actually have here right now. Oh, is it? So yeah, but now they're in a bigger container. And the cool thing about my melts is that you can mix and match your scents. You can use a little, you could use a lot, and they're heavily fragranced.
Yes.
Wow. So yeah, so one of my customers actually just leave it open.
Yeah.
So the scent just kind of lingers.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't actually have to
melt it.
Because actually, the one I just leave open, especially like when I'm office, we have one in the office too. We leave open, it smells amazing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They are $10.
That's not bad. It's very affordable.
Eggs.
Yeah.
Sentiments, exactly. And I don't like to count people's pockets.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure that because I did start out selling at $12.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure, obviously, that this is a business, so definitely for profit, but making something that is affordable. And now I'm actually on Klarna too. Klarna. I figured there's people who might not have the best of credit,
Yeah.
but it offers you an option to make payments.
Yes.
So why not make sure that I touch a market that where somebody can dive into
Yes.
and make your payments
Yes.
as much as you like, but it fits everybody's budget.
Yes.
Right.
So I want to take the time to explain that. It's very similar to Afterpay. So you can divide your payments up into 4 simple payments. Very simplistic. And actually, you pay like a small fee in the beginning and you go on. It's usually like every 2 weeks and not expensive at all. And it's actually, I use it all the time. I love it.
I was about to say, when it comes to shopping, man, you know everything.
Yeah.
Swear, like I thought I had a lot of credit cards. You got me beat. He got me beat.
Yeah, that's me.
But Nicole, going back to your business, right? One of the things I love so much about it is that I think I spoke to you maybe like a month ago, and you were like, "Yeah, we're getting ready to move." I was like, "Can you do our show? It's gonna be our first show." She was like, "No, I would, but I'm opening my own standalone location. So tell us more."
I am just a slight correction. I am actually in Kahlua Studios,
Okay.
owned by Kahlua Ray, Malia Mayfield. Me and her mom actually was active duty, so I if y'all don't mind me shouting her out,
Shout her out.
She is the small black owned studio
Even
in
better.
Chamblee,
Yeah.
Georgia. So hopefully y'all get to tap in with her as well.
Yeah.
There's other small vendors that's in there. So I get to now have my product in store,
Yeah.
which is great for me because now I get to touch a different market besides just internet based.
Mm.
She did just open up on the 23rd. I think that was the first week that y'all
Right.
had just started. So I was like, dang it. But I'm excited because my goal is to one day be able to have my own storefront. I'm working with a phenomenal company now, so hopefully, some grants and stuff.
You
come,
know it. You know it. You know
Newbie
it.
Corp
What's that
helping me out
company name
now.
again? I'm-
Newbie Corp is helping me out.
Say, make sure.
She said Newbie Corp. Let the record
Hey,
reflect.
And I'll put this out there too. Even
That's
my
right.
sound man back there is still saying, "Hey, he's a Newbie Corp member too."
So I'm a Newbie Corp member too.
Yes.
You are.
I
keep
am.
forgetting that.
I am. I
Get
am.
my emails too.
Yeah, I do. I got the email yesterday.
Yes. So I wish I'm glad that I did get put on now because I will say that what I am excited about your company is that it kind of takes some of that leg off, like how we briefly discussed that, or you and I had discussed on
Definitely.
the phone, not knowing some of the grants that are out there for minorities or for women or for
Precisely.
event owned.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have been doing some research, but when I started learning like what all y'all do, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
hey mom.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I was like, okay, so I'm grateful for y'all.
We
Yeah,
gonna have our sound man. His name
Ryan.
Ryan.
Hold on, don't do that. DISCO100. Don't let's put my real name.
DISCO100.
Now, real quick, she said minority grants. So I'm excited about being a part of y'all because I'm actually Cuban and black.
Yes.
So I should get some extra money, right?
Yeah. Listen, I would say this too for black ownership. Like this is it's a good season.
Yeah.
It is a really good season, and for people who are out there who are minority owners, like there's so much. One of the things, and I don't think we've ever had this discussion about why Newbie Corp came about. It was not an idea of mine. It was an idea of James Henderson, who is my partner.
Oh, okay.
And what we looked at is that we looked at a world where African American businesses were not treated so much. We actually just had like an 2-hour conversation about this yesterday,
Yes.
talking about Black Wall Street, talking about how black businesses are treated, talking about how we perish for lack of knowledge. And that's even a Bible verse. Like, we don't know, right? We don't know. And a lot of black businesses out here, even now, with all this money that's out here helping small businesses, they've been in business forever, but they didn't know that, hey, you know what? If you're a nonprofit, you need to file a 990 every year, right?
Yeah.
And that information is very important. And a lot of them didn't know that because if you're a church, I mean, you're not required to do it if you meet certain requirements, right? And then, so those are the things that we want to kind of educate our community on, man.
Precisely.
Because we got to make sure that every single business, if we can keep black money in the black community, do you know how much more successful?
Right.
Like, we should have a black Amazon. We should have a black Walmart.
We need a black grocery store. Like
we
I
should
noticed
have
that's
a
not a
black
thing.
Publix,
Yeah,
right.
we need to.
Right.
We need one.
And we need to talking about that is important
Yeah.
because I remember there were businesses when the first strain of COVID hit and the first time that it came across, there were minority businesses who had banked with big banks forever. And they went to their big bank and the big bank was like, no, we can't help you. And they end up having to go find like another merchant or a smaller bank
Right.
or stuff like that, like a local bank in order to do that. So we are excited about the connections that we built. We actually have a connection with UCBI now where they have their own foundation. They're going to be coming out and they want to volunteer with other nonprofits. They want to volunteer with Newbie Corp. They want to volunteer with Black Push. So it's going to be pretty interesting. They want to come out and talk to people about the the difference between banking locally and banking on a national scale. So we're super excited. But I don't want to lose the focus of our businesses for the day. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, I don't talk about Newbie Corp all day.
All
we can
day.
do a whole segment on Newbie Corp. But I love the fact, I love your passion. I love your
Thank you.
business. I love the fact that it's a family-owned business because
Yes.
your mom is out there pushing it just as hard as you
Yes,
are.
she is. Yeah.
I mean, she
She
is.
is. I
on
will
it.
definitely say she has been the biggest supporter. So big that I'm like, okay, if you keep buying everything, who else is going to do it?
Right.
So, and she knew, and she believes in Newbie Corps that she actually made that donation for me to make sure that I could do the membership. So I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I've known her for a while, and she's
Yes.
amazing, and she promotes the heck out of it.
Yes, yes. We went out, I think, because not too long after y'all launched, she had flyers, and we was doing pop-ups. So at the pop-ups that we were at, she was giving out Newbie Corp flyers. And I'm like, hey, make sure you do this, and you got to support. So I will definitely say, you need a hype man.
Yeah.
That is her.
Even from a church perspective, she
Right.
was a hype man at church. She kept me rolling.
Yes.
And you know, one of the things that too, I think is important when we talk about these things, talk about these businesses, talk about how faith drives our business. Because Newbie Corp is a very faith-based organization. There's a cross, obviously, in our logo. How does faith drive what you do? Like, I know as a business owner, there are moments where I'm looking at myself like, did I make the right decision? Did I do the right thing? Right. But there's moments where it's like, God, I know I did the right thing. Like, I know following you was worth it. Like, have you had that experience yet?
Okay, so aside from my mom, I am spiritual, but I will not act like I know every single Bible verse or anything like that. But I do believe that God put me in this position for a reason. Whatever however long the season may last. This is the only business that, so I'm not sure if you knew, so I had a daughter that passed away. So Sent from Heaven actually was, if you on my Instagram or whatever, there's a picture of her. So it was one of those things where I was like, dang, I want to do something, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, well, we'll do the candle business because the boys like to play and stuff, mix stuff or whatever. So that. Then it was, well, what would I call it? And then although my daughter, Nadia is her name, is not here in the physical form, but I'm like, she's always with me. So I'm like, I want to make sure that I include her. So I'm like, dang, what's the name? You know, what's something I could do? And I was just like, I literally went to sleep on it. I was like, forget it. And you can ask my sister Ari, like, I don't know what we're gonna call it. And it was like, well, it was like Sent from Heaven. I was like,
There it goes.
Sent from Heaven.
Yep.
This is her saying, Mommy, we got this. You know, this is, you know, it's gonna be Sent from Heaven. It's anointed. This is what it's gonna be. So,
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that.
There's a picture of her on my page, and it was just like, this is what it's gonna be because now she's still included.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, with her brothers and her
She's
sisters.
still helping mix in those scents.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's what the word play, like it was Sent from Heaven. So Sent from Heaven. No one else was using it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh.
Oh, this is a plus. It worked out.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
Exactly.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trinice, what else did you have for her today?
So I do want. So how is it being a Black female business owner? Like, how is it? Like, and for other, you know, my sister is in the candle business, and she wants to at least have some of the you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Because the greatness that you're experiencing right now. So what would you tell to other, you know, upcoming Black, you know, business owners? Period.
Be confident.
Yeah.
Get excited about your business.
Absolutely.
You know, no one's gonna promote you like you're gonna promote you. You know, if you don't believe in yourself, don't expect nobody else. So I will definitely say one of the things, I shortchanged myself in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think it was gonna be I was like, oh, it's gonna be nice. But I didn't realize how successful it could be or has been thus far. Especially being that a lot of this was my dollars.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like I said, I retired, but I was also a federal employee.
Yeah.
So I borrowed from myself, you know, and not knowing, like I said, the different grants. It was literally something that just came and I was like, I'm just going to do this. So borrowing from my own retirement, put that money back into myself. So I'm like, I'll make it back later.
Yeah.
But it's exciting to
That's amazing.
be a Black woman, own business, retired veteran.
Yeah.
And other people enjoy or love the sense, you know, I'm starting to get orders from places that I've never even heard. And now I might be from Newbie Corp too, because, you know, after y'all promoted, it's like, oh, Kentucky. Okay. And it wasn't like anybody in relation to somebody like a Facebook. Or whatever.
Definitely.
So, again, I appreciate that too.
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
from that business week, that shout out. So, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I've done several pop-ups, and now we'll also be in the Black Beauty Expo.
Yes.
That's at the Georgia Convention. You know, it's supposed to be February 7th,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, COVID.
it's August 1st, which I'm like, dang, because my birthday's the 31st, and I didn't expect to be here. I want to be somewhere flying to friends.
Your birthday the 31st of what month?
July.
I thought you were going to say August. I'm August 31st.
No, but it's close enough. 'Cause
It's
you told me
close
so
enough.
it's okay.
You know, it's close enough.
But it's a wonderful sacrifice because I'm in my business. You know
Doing
what
what
I'm
you
saying?
love.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing what I love, and it's exciting, and it's like this year is gonna be even greater because I'm claiming it for myself. Like, don't nobody else have to believe in me as long as I believe in me. But,
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
We gonna be doing big things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the
Definitely.
reason why yesterday, even going back to the young man Mason,
Yeah.
he's 14 as of today.
Right.
Like, he's 14 right
Yeah.
now.
That is crazy.
And when I met him, when I seen this video online, I was like, I called Trinice and I was like, we gotta have him.
We got to do it.
We gotta have him. And
Gotta
I
do
love
it.
the fact that even when you meet him, like he's there. Like his mom was sitting at a table
Really?
just enjoying her hot dog. And he told us the other day, he said, I mean, his mom told us, she said that he won't even allow me to come in the kitchen. He said, nope, that's not your place. Yeah, I mean, so she's either in the office or in her car. And it's like, it's just amazing because he runs his business.
Yep.
That is amazing.
And
He
I
runs
love
it.
it. Like he runs his business. And his mom was telling us today that he has kids calling him from all over.
Absolutely.
Wanting to know more about his business and how they can get started. So I was like, oh no, now he may be a little franchisee up
Okay. Okay.
Listen, and I would definitely, if he ever does anything like speaking engagements, because I think some people think that we can't learn from those who are younger than us.
Absolutely
That's the
not.
thing.
You know, you can learn from up top and from the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even myself, you know, as a new business owner, there's something I could probably learn from. Like, oh, okay, you know, whether it be customer service, you
Yeah.
know, how you manage your supply and demand. So don't ever. I think that's one thing that we business owners, you know, need to know that you never stop learning.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Never stop.
You
learning.
never stop
So,
learning.
Definitely.
Yeah. And one of the things I think that is really cool about even both of your businesses is that you built it through the struggle.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Like I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
I know you.
Yes.
So it's well somewhat. I know you, but I mean like you guys took it at the worst moment there
Right.
was to start a business during
Right.
COVID. And you guys took advantage of e-commerce.
Mm-hmm.
E-commerce is extremely important now.
Yes, it
I love anybody know anything about me, I'm like I digest Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Shark Tank. So I'm gonna throw them some shade for not having my boy Mason up on there.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I hope they see this video. But I mean,
He said he met somebody before he got on the show.
oh, did he say he made
He
it?
said he made it,
Yes.
but he met somebody on the way to the show.
And as
Oh
long as
wow,
you
the
kept them
president.
A's,
Oh yeah. So but still. So but we need sense from heaven on Shark Tank. I
Okay.
don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
We do.
That fun.
From our lips to y'all ears, okay?
I love it. But one of the things that I love so much about your business is that you built it through the struggle, right?
Yes.
Tell us the difference or how you finding yourself adjusting going from like e-commerce, which I know you're still doing, to actually being like having your own spot now.
It is a struggle because obviously with it being a new studio, so it's a pop-up store.
Yeah.
Right.
So like I said, there's other small vendors that's in there. It's difficult because although it's in a great location, with the struggle and people being apprehensive about coming out and being around others and social distancing, getting them to go into the store.
Right.
You can advertise all day, but if you're not comfortable being out, it's like, I'm gonna just shop online.
Yeah.
So, and then it's like, well, do people want to spend their money because you don't know how much longer this is going to last, or when's the market going to be better, or whatever the case may be. So that's another thing. And then with making melts is like finding something that's marketable that can sustain regardless of what it may be.
Right.
You know, I love clothes, but if I'm not going nowhere, am I going to spend money on
Thank
clothes?
you. There you go.
I love to play in makeup, but how often am I gonna spend that same dollar amount? But some might be at work, or at home. You want to feel good when you're at home.
You wanna
have to be
yeah.
home. Or whenever you do get away, you want to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So how can I make sure that I market through whatever it may be? So
There you go.
You know, coming up
Yeah.
with something that whether it be in your home, want to go, and these little travel sizes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll say this too for African Americans who are out there, we have to stop having the excuse that we're afraid to go out. If I see you in Publix and Walmart every day, like
Hello.
Yeah, there you go. Let's talk about
to
it.
support our
Let's
own
talk
black
about it.
businesses,
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things about it too, Newbie Corp is going to be taking a big push this year to promote. And I know there's already websites out here that do this. Like, I think it's shopblack.com, but promote people shopping in their own communities, because we're the ones who's going to take that dollar and put it back into our community. So that's so cool. Like, I love it. I love it. I love everything that you and Mason are doing. I love the fact that you are so passionate about it. Tell everybody, how can they find you guys?
So, I am online as www.shopsent, no S, shopsentfromheaven.com.
And that's SCENT.
Yes,
That's
sorry,
correct.
play on the word. It's
Yeah.
SCENT from heaven.com. I also just started a rewards program. So when you sign up for the rewards, you immediately get 250 points. It has referrals as well. So when someone purchases, you get more points, which can earn free melts or this percentage off. So free shipping if you spend $35, or come to Chamblee, Georgia. It's not far, exit 30 off of 285, and come visit Kahlua Studios, and you'll get the same rewards. You still can sign up. I don't do DMs. You can send an email to customer service at Shot Sent from Heaven if you're looking for wholesale orders, because we do wholesale as well.
Yes.
Where I'll make the melts for you, whatever scent that it may be, and I will either customize for you, or you can put your own labels on it, which I've just recently done. A friend of mine has her own company.
Yeah.
So I made some mini size melts for her that now she can put with her line and put her own label on it. So yes.
Yeah.
And we sell the warmers too. So we make it just that much easier. So you can just
You can do it all. You do it all.
We do it all.
We love that. We love that.
yes.
That is amazing. So everybody remember, Shop Sent, and that's SCENT.
Yes.
Shopsent.com,
From heaven. Yes.
right? Shopsentfromheaven.com.
Yes.
Try them out. And if you guys get a chance to also check out Mason's spot down in DeKalb, man, them hot dogs are
Off the chain.
banging.
They are.
The hours, because I would love to go by there.
Their hours are on their website.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's going to be on our website today. I think they're actually going. He's our business of the week, so he'll be getting promoted
There we
throughout
go.
the week. But we want to just give a shout out to both of you guys and everything that you guys are doing, especially during this time. I love it. I love it. I love it. Trinice, you had any more questions for Nicole today?
No, that is everything.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. We got one more ad that's getting ready to go on before we leave up out of here. But it's 4:04, and I just want to just share with everybody before you guys leave, before we depart. We thank everybody who takes the time out to watch this show every single week. We know we promote it. If you go to www.blackpush.org, you can always rewatch it on our website. Or you can go to YouTube and you can find Disco, that's DISCO 100. Subscribe to his channel and watch us live every week. Radio. Disco 100 Radio. Okay, I'm sorry. Disco 100 Radio on YouTube. Or you guys can go to our website, www.newbiecorp.org, and you can watch it on there as well. If you can't find us on Facebook, listen, I'm telling y'all right now, this is February's Black History Month. I do want to throw a shout out to Cicely Tyson, who passed away this over the last couple of weeks. We want to give a shout out to all those African Americans who are out there running their own business, doing your thing. So kudos to all the businesses that we've had up so far. So we're going to recount. I think the first week we had Willie B's Sisters, that's down in Mableton, Georgia. We had Kingdom Coffee, which is like Nicole, e-commerce. So you guys can check him out as well. Last week, I didn't think we didn't have a business last week, but we thank Nicole again for not only sitting through one segment, but
Two
segments.
Yeah, thank you.
Now I'm not nervous.
No, the pleasure was ours. Thank you.
2 segments. And we also want to throw a shout out to to Trinice, who
Yes.
constantly every week puts this together. And let's give a shout out to Disco 100.
Yes.
All the time allows us to be here. And we just want to thank everybody for watching. We want to continue to remind you guys that we're here every week, 3 p.m. to 4:15. And we'll see you guys next week at 3 p.m. And don't forget, I'm telling y'all, Sent from Heaven.
Yes.
Check us
You
out.
gotta check it out. You gotta check it out. Thank you so much.
Like and share.
All right.
Hey everyone, it's Sean Smith again from Newbie Corp. This week we want to focus on our business of the week, and we're so proud to be able to promote this young man. This week our business of the week is Mason Super Dogs. If you guys have not been there, if you have not tried him, you have to go try him. He's down in DeKalb at 3275 Snapfinger Road in Stonecrest, Georgia. You got to go try this young man out. Support him as we build better together. So make sure you try him out.